Hey, what's everybody? It's Roger Williams here. St. George Half Ironman Training Journal, although it's not really a training journal today. Today is a recap of the St. George Half Ironman race that Kate and I did just last weekend. So, first news is we finished. I got a medal around here somewhere, but I don't know. The hat's pretty sweet. I don't know. So, recap of the race. It was our first half Ironman event that we raced in. I have volunteered for the Arizona one years ago, and it was a first-class event. I mean, you're paying a lot of money, so you expect something amazing, and they delivered it. The whole town of St. George came out and was fantastic. We got there Thursday night, so we arrived with plenty of time before the event on Saturday. Got there Thursday night, went for a night ride. We just needed to get a 30-minute quick ride in after driving for 7 hours. And we had at least 4 cars cheering for us and hooting and hollering and all positive stuff. So really, really awesome vibe from the city right from the start. It's obviously a very big deal for St. George, and everybody comes out and is very supportive. Friday, we checked in. Check-in was very smooth. They had a ton of volunteers making sure you knew what you needed to sign. You got everything that you needed to have. They handed out the ankle bracelet the day before the event, which is just how it should be done. I'm still bitter with Lake Havasu, or the Havasu Tri. But anyway, we got checked in, didn't spend much time in the village just because I don't need to buy a whole bunch of stuff. I've got my gear. I'm good to go. What we did do, though, is at 2 o'clock we were able to get our bike checked in. Transition was up at the lake, so we wanted to get our bike checked in, and we also wanted to get in the water and get a swim in, get used to the water temperature, get used to what we're going to be sighting off of. Because, you know, the big thing that Sarah at Wanna Try taught me in all of our open water clinics is when you're in the water, it's really hard to sight the buoys because they're in the water with you. So what you want to try and do is find some sort of a object that's further off in the distance. And the nice thing with St. George is there's all these really unique mountains and rock formations all over the place. So it was just a matter of figuring out what is just beyond the buoy and kind of getting a sight off of that. So we got in, we got everything set up. People were a little crazy, a little intense in the bike transition setup zone. I understand. We've all spent a lot of money. We've all spent a lot of time training for this stuff. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be a jerk face. So just lighten up, really. And that was that. We got checked in. We got back home. We had a good meal. I made up pasta with veggies and some tomato sauce. Just something really easy on the stomach. Lots of carbs. Didn't eat too much though. Got to sleep relatively early because we had to get up early. The race starts at 7. We were going to take the shuttle buses from downtown out to the lake. Those started going, I think, at 4:30, and they stopped going at 5:30. So we got up pretty early. I think we got on one at about 5 o'clock. We had set up our transition too, so the run transition downtown, we had set that up on Friday as well after doing the bike stuff. So everything was good to go. And we had, our morning clothes on over our tri-suits. We had our wetsuit in our morning clothes bag so that when we got up to the lake, we could get out of our morning clothes, the warm-ups and stuff, throw all that in the morning bag, and then that would be taken back to town along with our car keys and all that other stuff. So we packed a water bottle full of the Powerade Perform, I think, is the name for their Gatorade, which would be on the course. So we were, just trying to get used to drinking and eating the stuff that would be on the course. We got up there. Check the bikes once again, just make sure there's air in the tires. Went in and pulled stuff out of the transition bags a little bit, not too much. I put my helmet on my handlebars, kind of put my stuff in there. My superstition is that I always put my helmet on as quickly as possible before doing anything else, because if you get your bike and start going and you don't have your helmet on and clipped, you're disqualified. So that would just be such a huge bummer to have that type of thing happen. So we got everything set up, and then we just followed Coach Sarah's advice, and we were just turtles. We sat back to back against each other in the parking lot and just kind of watched everybody else freaking out, burning up their fuel. We just sat there relaxed. We enjoyed the sunrise coming up. I got recognized for a couple of these videos. Ran into a couple of people that I hadn't met before. Paul, who actually helps organize the event, recognized me, and so we chatted up for a little bit. And yeah, just kind of got ready for it. The pros went off, and then our waves were after that. I think Kate was started at 7:25. My wave went off at 7:33. So we went and got the wetsuits on, dropped off the morning clothes bags, and made our way over towards the water to get started. The tricky thing with the St. George swim is that it is a swim start. So the start line is actually out in the water. And I like the approach. I like the idea. It reduces just the craziness of a whole bunch of people running off the beach and just colliding and all the crazy stuff with that. The issue at St. George is that they put the start line at least 200 yards off from shore, and they gave you 2 minutes to get out there. So maybe it was 100 yards, but either way, I mean, 100 yards in 2 minutes is swimming pretty fast. And so, I got out there and kind of felt I was at the start line. I had a little bit of water in one goggle lens, so I kind of shook that out, put it back on, and boom, the gun went off. So I quickly hit start on the watch and started swimming. So it was a little bit hectic, but whatever. Started going, had a great swim. The water was not that cold. The wind was super chill. We really had fantastic conditions for this race. Apparently, a couple of years ago, it was just a total hurricane nightmare. This was absolutely perfect race conditions. Started going with the swim. Recognized that the guy that was next to me we were basically doing the same pace. So I just dropped back and drafted behind him for the whole swim. And it was great. I saved a whole lot of energy, and had a decent time out of the water. 38 minutes. I could have gone a little bit faster, but I mean that's a minute 59 seconds per 100 meters, which is pretty good pace for me. I'm not disappointed in any way with that effort. Came up out of the water. They have wetsuit strippers at Ironman, so they help you get out of your wetsuit, which was nice. They got people applying sunscreen on you, which was great. And hopped on the bike and got going. And the bike course at St. George is probably like the biggest thing that it's known for. There's a lot of vertical. Their official vertical is over 4,000 feet. My Garmin had something just over 3,000, so I'm not sure. Obviously there's different types of measurements going on there. But almost right out of Sandy Hollow, the lake, there is a Class 4 climb. And the whole problem, the issue with St. George is that there's a lot of climbs. They're pretty steep, and you can see them from the bottom to the top. So when you're at the bottom of the climb, you can see to the top of the climb, which, I mean, it just kind of drives you a little nuts. But once again, fantastic race conditions. Wind was low. I had packed 700 calories of food into my food bag. Had another 100 calories in one of my water bottles of the Perform energy drink, and then I decided that at the 2 water stops on the course that I would drink, more of the energy drink as well as more water. And immediately just started eating right off the bike. Kate makes these excellent energy bars, homemade little energy bars that are just right. They're not too wet, not too dry. You can easily bite into them, easily chew them, get them swallowed down. They've got plenty of sugars, plenty of salt, everything that you need. Just munched on those through the race. And really, I took the bike fairly easy. I tried to stay at about a level 2 as much as possible. Obviously, going up hills, you kind of lose option at a certain point. There's only so many gears. But for the most part, I think I averaged a 138 heart rate over 3 hours and 15 minutes of the bike. So, I think it's a little bit above my L2 on an average, but you have to take into consideration there's a lot of climbing, including that last climb at the end, coming up Snow Canyon. That's about a 4-mile Class 4 climb, and that thing was just brutal. Seth is in the chat room asking how many cat turds, so that's what I nicknamed the Kate's energy bars as. Not because of how they taste, just because she rolls them in crushed pretzels, so it looks like a cat turd that's been rolled in kitty litter. They're 100 calories per cat turd, so I had 7 of them. I think there was still a full one in T2, so I went ahead and just ate the rest of everything in my bag before I headed off on the run. So thanks, Seth. So yeah, but overall, I mean, it was a good course. It was a little bit chatty on the bike course with people, just having fun once again. Early on, there was somebody who was getting a little bit annoyed, calling out on your left, while I was passing 2 people, and obviously, he was wearing an all-white skin suit, so I don't know, maybe that says enough about it right there. Seth says my heart rate was spot on. Thank you for that again, Seth. Appreciate that. But other than that, I mean, it was a good course. There's some fast people, a lot of faster people than me. And one of the things that I mentioned in a Facebook post is when you do triathlons, they write your age on the back of your calf. And they always put your age as it's going to be at the end of the year. And I'm born in December, so it means that every triathlon I do is always reminding me how much older I'm going to be this year, which is, whatever. But the big issue with the age on the back of the calves is when people are passing you, and they're 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I don't think anybody was 40 years older than me. There might have been somebody who was 71 who passed me on the run, and that's crazy because, first of all, every age group older is starting 2 minutes behind me at least, and some of those age groups were broken up into multiple groups. So, people in their 50s and 60s started 4+ minutes behind me, and so when they were passing me, they were already 4 minutes ahead of me, plus, going off into the distance. So, whatever, it's fun though when you're passing somebody who's 20. Little sucker, you should be faster than me. But anyway, the bike was good. It was brutal, slow, getting to the top. Rolled into T2 and took my time in T2. I think 5-minute transition. Was not in a big hurry to start running. My back sprain hadn't really been bugging me at that point, but who knows what's going to happen. So made my way out of T2, had some more sunscreen put on, and just started going and felt pretty good. Once again, tried to hold an L2 heart rate zone as much as possible, but the run has got some just unbelievable climbs as well. You're going back up onto Red Rock Parkway, and there's a photo. The best photo. There was a motorcycle photographer coming past me up the first major climb, and I don't know. I noticed he took a picture of me. I ran into him later at the bar, and I think it's a pretty good shot. The fact that I didn't have to spend any money on it, but you have to realize that what you're looking at behind us here is a class 4 hill. So the photo makes it look like this is really flat that I'm going up. In reality, it's very steep hill, and the smile there is more of like a curse probably coming out. But yeah, pretty happy. Once again, that was early on in the race, in the run part of it. Back wasn't feeling too aggravated at that point. I ate a couple of goo gels, and I don't think those sat with me super well. And then at the top of the climb going out, so right at about mile 4, is the first real downhill, and that downhill did not go well. And that was kind of when I realized the back was still going to be an issue a little bit. And but you know, trudged on through, tried to maintain some sort of a pace. Ended up with a 2:30 half marathon, so not my fastest by far, but overall finished at 6:33, 6 hours 33 minutes, about middle of the pack from looking at everything in terms of age group, gender, and overall finishers. So pretty happy with that for a first half Ironman. And immediately already feeling like we've got to do a full Ironman, of course. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but now it definitely has to, because you know all it is now is I'm a half Ironman finisher. So going to have to do the full. Probably not this year. We've got Vineman half coming up in July. That's going to be a lot of fun. Should be a little bit easier course than St. George. And then maybe sometime next year we'll do a full Ironman. But overall, really enjoyed the race. The last 2 miles were my fastest on the half marathon. I pushed through, just got beyond the pain that was happening and tried to finish strong. They put together an awesome video that came out like the next day of the race. So really well done on getting that out. And at minute 11, I'm there. They've got me coming across the finish line, so that's pretty cool. And other than that, I mean, big thanks go out to Seth and Sarah from Wanna Try. Would not have, I don't know, I think we would have still entered the race. Maybe I would have finished, but not nearly as quickly as I did, and not as confidently. At no point in the race did I feel I wasn't going to finish. It was just a question of, you know, what kind of time was I going to finish in. And my goal starting out, when we started the training, I think my goal was to finish this race in under 8 hours. So I had modified that to be 7 hours and came in at 6.5. So that was great. So beat my goals. Kate beat her goal. She finished in 7 hours and 13 minutes, and so she did phenomenal. Thank you, Seth. Seth is asking, how hard is it to get a post-race celebratory beer in St. George? So, you know, one of the issues that does come up with doing a race in Utah is that they've got fairly strict liquor laws. The biggest one is that unless you go to a state-owned liquor store, you can only get 4.2% alcohol by weight beer. So it's slightly different than how the rest of us always measure beer, which is alcohol by volume. So I think it works out to like 5.4% beer. So it's not 3.2 beer. But you also have to order food if you're going to get a beer in the bar. So there's just some little things like that. However, in St. George, there is a great bar called George's right at the finish line. I mean, it's maybe a quarter mile from the finish line. They've got a full bar. The staff is super friendly there. They have a bunch of different beers on tap. They had an IPA, Redemption IPA, and I'm not sure who makes that, but it was a very good IPA, and we did pretty good. We only had 2, and that was probably all we needed there. We had some edamame and some French fries, and met some other. There were some other racers there. They had the same comments about, post race is a little bit tougher in St. George, but I think it's kind of good because you drink probably a little bit less beer than normal when you're out. But it's also bad because you don't meet as many racers after the race. So, I'm not saying that I don't like Utah because we can't get as drunk as easily, but maybe I'm saying that. I don't know. So it's not impossible to get a post-race beer. It's just not as easy as some other races. So that's something to consider depending on what your inclination is for having a post-race celebratory beer. What else? The finish line, they had one of those kids kind of water parks going, and that was really great for getting washed off after the race. So, pretty cool. What else? Logistically, parking at the event was not difficult. There's parking structures, or you can park on the street. We found some cool shaded spots the day before that we knew would be shaded in the afternoon, so we parked there. Didn't have to deal with parking structures and all that fun stuff. Collecting all of our gear after the race was super easy. I mean, it's an Ironman, so it's just they know what they're doing. They've been doing it a long time, and it was really well done. We rented a house through Vacation Rentals by Owner that Kate found that was about 2 miles from the start, so we were able to get back there, chill out, make some food, have some beers, have some Glenlivet, and unwind and pass out, basically. The next day we just drove up to Zion, chilled out, had a picnic. But other than that, I mean, it was a great time. And like I said, going back to the whole thought on wanna try, it definitely helped with the confidence. It's the week after right now. We're not doing anything except for going for 30-minute walks this week. I think we have a 45-minute activity. We'll probably go for an easy hike on Saturday. But I don't feel broken. My back is still a little bit tight. I'll probably go see Dr. Sherman at Iron Care, which once again, miracle worker, getting me to where I could run while I wasn't totally cured. My back was still a little bit hurting. It was nowhere as bad as it was a few weeks ago. So, thank you to Wanna Try, thank you to Iron Care, thank you to Triple Sports and 2XU for helping me with the get my one piece replaced, the zipper had broken on. They came together and got me taken care of with that in the day before we left for St. George. So big props to them. And other than that, I mean, now we start training. Next week is an easy week, but we start training up for Vineman in July. And my goal for that, I'm going to get a little audacious, but I'm going to shoot to do a sub 6 hour half at Vineman. So I could probably take 30 minutes off on the run, and then I need to just find some time, maybe a minute on the swim, a couple of minutes on the bike, and then my transitions I could probably speed up. So I think it's doable. It's doable. So that's what I've got today. Training starts up again next week, so I'll probably see you then. Later.